It's Ringside Report MMA. Welcome to the show. Tonight we're going to preview UFC Kansas City, Max Holloway and Arnold Allen. We'll tell you what's next for Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira. Fred will give us a NASCAR update and other things will happen. Let's do it.
Let's go!
Other things will happen. I promise. I don't know what exactly is going to happen, but other things will occur on this show. You never know. With AJ D'Alessio. Oh.
What's up, Toto? What's up?
What's
Everything's
up, Ho?
in Kansas.
Ho.
You get it? Kansas. Toto.
We're not in Kansas anymore, baby. We're in
Badness
Montreal.
makes a person ugly. That is, it kind of felt like the Wizard of Oz last week. It doesn't make sense. This weather in Montreal is insane. Everybody's talking about it in the U.S. Montreal got, wiped and everything. But today, we're hitting 20 degrees. Trees are all over the
27.
floor. 27? Yeah,
Nice.
man. We're like Mexico weather. It's insane, man. Last Friday, Celsius, yeah. Last Friday, I was wearing 3 layers of clothes, like Eddie Murphy in Trading Places. I was walking
that reference
around.
a lot. A lot of times you say, I was
love
doing
Trading
this
Places.
like Eddie Murphy in Trading Places. I don't know why you make that reference. I don't get it because I never seen the movie. But
What?
sorry, go
Come on, Dave. It's a classic, man. Are you joking? Another
So
one?
you were bundled up last week because it was cold. We had an ice storm. Everybody lost their power. It was all bad. And now today, all of a sudden, it's super hot. I was in a tank and shorts earlier today. It was fantastic. That's what you're trying to tell me, AJ?
No, I'm trying to tell you that in 1 week it went from like
I know.
like
That's what I just
a
said.
nightmare to like beautiful weather, man.
Yeah, well, it's April, so that's
Totally.
usually what
Welcome
happens.
to
Kind of the
spring.
winter.
Ah,
The winter is
Welcome to
ending. The
spring.
spring is coming in. It's kind of.
well,
It's
it's a bit
not
of an
unusual.
extreme, man. I'm just saying. Global warming. I'm just saying.
Warming.
Oh my
I
lord!
thought you didn't believe in global warming.
Do you know what?
Aren't you one of those
do
guys?
And actually, I just want to go. Do you know what ice rain is, AJ? It's basically when the temperature is just under zero. So it's
Yeah.
not like we went from like -40 to plus 27. Come on.
Well,
Yeah.
it was. Come on.
Don't be
It
that
wasn't.
guy.
Listen,
Yeah,
man,
AJ's
I
trying
am
to
that
make
guy. I
it
was
seem
freezing
like
my
we went
nuts
from
off.
one extreme
I
to
had
the
no
other
power,
and things
man.
crazy.
We
Come
did.
on. It's normal. This is
okay,
what
man.
always happens in the springtime
Not normal,
in
dude.
Montreal. How long have you lived in this city? Longer than I have because you're far older.
Listen, man. 900 trees that came down. People without power still. I mean, listen, man.
Still?
Uh,
Get it together,
yeah, there's
people.
some.
Get some power.
I know, hydro, man. Like seriously, get it together, man. I saw another tree fall down the other day. It just fell.
It happens.
Welcome
Trees
to
fall.
Montreal, man. Come and visit us.
But if a tree
got
falls in
plenty
the
of
woods,
strip
does
joints
it make a
and trees.
sound? That's really the question.
Well, it depends who it lands on, man. You know what I mean?
No, if it falls in the woods and no one's around, does it make a sound? Answer the question,
Probably
AJ.
does.
Does it make a sound?
Well, I don't know. I'd
course.
be asking you that depending on how much weed it make, how much weed you smoke. You
But
know?
if
I
no
don't know.
one's around to hear it, who's to know it made a sound?
He's
How
got a
can
point
sound
there, Fred.
exist if no one's around to hear it? I think that's what Lisa told Bart when he was getting ready for the mini putt challenge. I think that's what that was a Simpsons thing.
You got a point. Is the glass half
right.
empty or half full? Like, Bruce Lee, remember?
Yeah. Do you see that video of Bruce Lee playing ping pong with nunchucks? Is that real?
Real, dude.
That can't be real.
Don't mess with Bruce Lee. Listen, man, what are you dissing
it's
the
it's
dragon?
like from a distance. It's like a weird video.
Listen, man.
I wouldn't
Bruce
be
was,
surprised it's
he
real.
was,
Have you
listen,
seen
man,
that,
Bruce
Fred?
Lee,
Not sure, but I've seen him do push-ups on 2 fingers, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, but that's a
and
strength
with
thing.
one hand. Listen, you got to remember one thing. I was talking about Bruce Lee this week, and what people don't realize is that Bruce Lee at one point broke his back. The guy literally broke his back, where most of the doctors said this guy would never walk again. And he came back, and it took a long time. I want to say it took almost a year of recovery to come back, and he became even more devastating, and his career flourished and everything, and then obviously he got killed.
Okay, so
what are you doing? Are you
this
putting me on the spot?
supposedly is Bruce Lee, but look at the distance. Like, it's really hard to tell who anybody is here or what's going on. But look, he's going to be playing ping pong with nunchucks. And he's actually winning, too. It's like, what? He's winning.
He won. He just won there, man.
How do you... Yeah, he just
scored.
won a point. Like, what?
It's the dragon, dude.
Is that real?
Look at that guy. Look how crouched back he is. Hidden tiger, crouching dragon.
I can't tell if that's
Or is it
real
the other
or
way
not.
around? It's real, dude. It's Bruce Lee.
It seems fake. I think it's fake. What?
Bad
He's
off.
like throwing
Did you see
kicks
that
and
leg
shit
kick?
and still hitting a ping pong ball. What is he flipping around for? You got to be good at ping pong already to be able to do this. And this other guy
Look at that
seems
guy.
like
He
he's
looks
good at ping
jacked.
pong too.
There's 2 of them now.
Yeah, and he's
Double
still
dragon.
winning. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't
Look at
make
him.
any
He's whipping around.
sense. Plus, we've never seen Bruce Lee's actual face here, so it's not even clear who this is.
What are you talking about? You can see it here. He's wearing his yellow
No,
garb.
you
there. Look at
never
that.
actually get a good shot of his face to identify who the man is.
He's wearing his yellow garb, Dave.
Doesn't mean
Where's
it's
that,
him.
man? Other
Doesn't
than
mean
Bruce.
it's real. I'm not buying. I think this is a fake video.
Benno.
I
Believe,
don't
man. Believe.
I don't believe.
Believe in Lee, man.
I think it's fake. Honestly, it's been going around, and I've been seeing it a lot online. And I
It's
don't.
going around now. That's been around forever, man.
I don't buy it. Well, I've never seen it until this week, or maybe in the past
Come on.
couple weeks,
That's been
and it's
around-
been
that's been around
everywhere.
for-
It's been everywhere
been
in the
around for
past
a
couple
while.
weeks. Maybe it's the algorithm, but honestly, man, I don't understand how you could actually win a ping pong game with nunchucks. That's
Listen, man,
crazy.
have you ever seen?
No way.
Listen, have you ever seen Bruce Lee giving the 1-inch punch or whatever it was? Did you ever see that at the karate?
No.
Was that the karate
I don't
tournament?
know.
And he
Maybe.
find that one. Find that one. Everybody wants to see that, man.
I don't know what
Bruce
you're
Lee.
talking about.
It's the 1-inch punch where he knocked the guy back so far, man. The guy almost like went to space.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's real.
It was real, dude. It was at a huge karate tournament, and there was a lot of people there to watch it. Bruce didn't fuck around. Find it,
It
the
wasn't
1-inch punch.
Bruce Lee.
Bah oui, c'est Freddy. Qu'est-ce que tu penses, c'est Bruce Lee?
It wasn't Bruce Lee.
It was fake. It's not even real.
My quick
You guys.
Google search is telling me that it wasn't him.
I found a picture of it here, AJ,
Yeah.
Which one?
of what you're looking for. That's what
C'est
you're
pas
looking
ça.
for. Tony Soprano with a banana? No? That's not it? Thought that
To
was
you,
what
it's
we
a
were looking
banana. For me, it's my friend.
for. We should talk
So
about
yeah, we
MMA
started
at some
the show
point.
on a
What?
Yeah, we started the show on a fake video of Bruce Lee. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's
I
our
believe
best
it,
start, but
Oh, it's
We
a
always
great
have
start.
good
What are you
starts.
talking about? AJ's talking about Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee and nunchucks? That's martial arts, Fred. We're a martial arts program. This is how we're supposed to
Yeah.
now
start.
you see,
The greatest dragon, man.
I was ready.
Where is he?
The subject I was ready to hit from the start is he making fun of Pereira's son? Because I want to right
That was
away
bad.
say
man.
that I'm on camp. No, I'm on camp Adesanya on that one, man.
Ooh.
That little brat.
Whoa.
Yeah, if that little brat
That
did
little
what
brat.
he did, man. I mean, come on, man. That's a little bit of humility, man. That's what I call it, humility, man. And if your father didn't teach it to you, well, Izzy was there to teach it to you, bro.
You got a
So,
point there. You
For
got a
those
point
that
there,
don't
Fred.
know, when Adesanya got knocked out by Pereira years ago in kickboxing, Pereira's son was in the ring and he fell over stiff, kind of mocking Adesanya being unconscious. So when Adesanya knocked out Pereira, he went, found the kid who was 12 now, who was 5 at the time, found the kid, pointed at him, and then fell down stiff. And he addressed it at the press conference. He's like, "I'm petty. I'm just petty, bro. What do you want from me?" He's like, "The kid deserves it." And I really don't have a problem with it because Adesanya, he owns it. He's like, "I'm petty. I did it." He admits that, what happened. He tells the story. He's not lying anyway. He's owning the story. He's being truthful. And even Pereira's like, Adesanya's acting like a child acted. If he wants to act like that, fine. But Pereira's not super upset about it. He seems to be like, he got his moment. He got his big win. Good for him. Pereira still it's still 3-1. I think for Pereira, it's like, well, I beat you twice in kickboxing. I beat you once in MMA. You got your little win here, buddy. That's cool. I'm going up to 205. And that's the word, too, from Alex Pereira, is that he is moving up to light heavyweight. He is not sticking around for a rematch. Apparently, the UFC not interested in doing a rematch, which is odd to me because even though technically in combat sports they are 3-1, it's still 1-1 in the UFC for the middleweight title. We all watched the fight and figured, well, they're going to do a trilogy because it kind of asks for it, right? I mean, the first fight, Pereira knocked him out. Second fight, Israel knocked him out. It's like, well, what happens in fight number 3 here in the UFC? And apparently we'll never get to see it. Although maybe we will, because not only does Pereira plan on moving up to 205, Israel Adesanya's coach has been doing interviews all week saying they're not super interested in Khamzat at 185 because he hasn't really earned a title shot, which is a solid point, and they want to go up to 205 again and challenge for that belt against Jamal Hill, which is a better matchup stylistically for Izzy than Jan Blachowicz was. Still a tough matchup, but I think a lot of people might pick Israel going into that fight. It's a tricky one, man. Jamal Hill's very good, but he's kind of new on the scene, and I wouldn't be surprised just based on hype and prestige and notoriety that Israel might come in as the betting favorite in a fight like that. That's a close fight. It's not a bad fight. Jamal Hill's not going to ground Izzy, not going to take him down. So I feel like
my problem.
Yeah.
My problem with Izzy going up is last time, didn't he weigh in at 201 or something like that, man? He's really not a light heavyweight. So that would be my argument for Izzy staying at 185. And look, man, you did good against a lot of guys, man. Why not against Khamzat, man? Khamzat Yeah, he's tough, man, but Izzy's a legend, man. What he did this weekend, re-winning his title in the fashion that he did, and let's think of everything he did before that. Izzy's one of the greatest middleweights. It's Anderson Silva and Izzy probably the two top middleweights. So I want to see him against Khamzat. That would be my pick. I want to see him challenge that 185, and I've seen him go at 205, and it didn't go well. And okay, maybe Jamal Hill is a better matchup, but what about after that, man? The rest is not all easy matchups, so I don't know. I'd rather see Izzy stay at 185.
Has Khamzat ever fought? I mean, he's fought maybe once or twice at 185. He hasn't fought anybody top 10. How do you give him a title shot now, though?
Oh, I don't care about that, man. There's nobody else, man. Robert Whittaker, he lost twice to Izzy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he like that pretty much, cancels him unless he really earns back a title shot. And who else is in the discussion, man? There's not a lot of guys at 185, unfortunately.
He's cleaned out the division. He's been champion for several years now, and he's beat everybody. He fights often, and he's beat all the top guys that are still the top guys in the division. Costa, Vettori, Whittaker, right?
He shouldn't worry about if Khamzat earned a shot. What he should worry about is, can we sell this fight? Because, like I say, he defeated twice Whittaker. So if you tell me Izzy versus Whittaker or Izzy versus Khamzat, well, the fight that's easier to sell is definitely versus Khamzat, man. You could sell that.
I think you're right. But Khamzat right now, if I look at the UFC's rankings, is not ranked even at middleweight. I don't know. It's a bit of a tough sell. And how about this? UFC wants to go to Africa, right? Recently, the number 6 middleweight in the UFC's rankings, Dricus du Plessis, said some stuff about actually being from Africa because he's from South Africa. And he says, I'm really the only African middleweight. I'm the only African UFC fighter. All these other guys live somewhere else. And Adesanya took exception to that. He's proud of his African heritage, even though he was born in New Zealand. His parents are born in Nigeria. And I feel like
Izzy was born in Nigeria.
Was he born in Nigeria?
Yeah, I believe he was.
Moved young. He moved very young to New Zealand.
Yeah, so he's, and he's quite proud of that. And, I think Dricus was talking a little trash, but maybe felt like he does represent Africa because he does actually live there. Like, I feel that sometimes where a lot of people, like, claim Montreal and they don't actually live here. And I'm like, but you don't live here. Get the hell out. You know what I mean? People are like, oh, Montreal, I love Montreal, I'm from Montreal. And I'm like, when's the last time you were here? You haven't lived here in 20 years. Get the hell out of here, Like a lot of people.
I was in Montreal today, and I hated it.
Yeah, I mean, I live here every day, and I don't love it every day, believe me. There's some days it's not so good. Some days
if it's not traffic, it's potholes, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, listen,
a lot of people want to claim Montreal, but not a lot of people are actually from here,
Listen,
what just happened?
I'm not sure what's happening, but my lights are flashing. So
my lights flash too.
You see what I'm telling you guys? You didn't believe AJ before, eh? I told you about this. It's not over yet, this storm. I'm telling you, you didn't believe me. AJ, okay. Listen, I'm going to go back to what you're talking about Pereira there. I thought Pereira, okay, in that fight.
Pereira, no, we're not talking about Pereira. I'm talking about Dricus and Adesanya. Do you want to see that fight? Because those two guys are ranked, and it makes more sense to me than Khamzat because Khamzat is not ranked at middleweight. We can talk about Pereira later. I don't know why you want to talk about Pereira. He's not in the mix right now.
Either way, man. Like, Izzy right now is
But he's not.
Izzy's the king at 185. So whoever you put in front of him, I'm going to be picking Izzy. Now, if you ask me which one of the two is the toughest challenge, I don't know, man. People always talk about Khamzat's wrestling, but what was his last fight there? Was it the Kevin Holland fight, or did he have another one?
Kevin Holland, yep.
Okay, so he looked good against Kevin Holland, but I want to see him against a 185er do that, and I'm not convinced he could do that to Izzy. So give me the Khamzat fight. Hey, if they do the Dricus, man, they'll figure a way to sell it, but I think Khamzat is the bigger fight.
There was talk about Khamzat and Paulo Costa. I hope that gets made because
I think it's getting done.
Well, but it's not official, right? Like, there's just been a lot of talk, and I don't know. I want that fight to be made. I want that fight to be done so we can see Khamzat actually tested at 185, and if he beats Paulo Costa, then cool. Give him the fight against Izzy. I got no problem with that. How about Alex Pereira against Israel Adesanya at 205? If they're both moving up to 205, I know it doesn't really mean much, but if we want to see a trilogy, would you guys be interested in that? Like, say Adesanya does become the light heavyweight champion by beating Jamal Hill. Him and Pereira at 205 for the light heavyweight belt would be a massive fight. It could happen down the road, maybe not immediately, but I think down the road it's a possibility because Adesanya's looking at that 205 division and he's thinking about it. You could tell, like, he's thought about it before and he's thinking about it again. So it could happen.
I think it's unfortunate that we're not getting the trilogy at 185. I would have wanted it to be at 185. I'm not sure why Dana wouldn't be interested. I think that rivalry could easily have this trilogy done and still have people captivated by it, man. There's ways to sell it and to make it appealing to the public. Now, at 205, yeah, if it happens, okay. But I'll be honest, I'm not convinced Pereira's going to have as much success at 205, man. Those guys are big, man. Those guys, like, you got some very good strikers at 205. Like, Jamal Hill is an excellent striker. He'll give a run to Pereira if they ever meet. Yuri, he's a great striker. He's going to give a run to Pereira. Ankalaev, he's a good wrestler. If he ever meets Pereira, it's not going to be easy for Pereira to keep that fight. So, Pereira going to 205, I'm not convinced that's going to be an easy success for him. Like, he might be... if I were him, I would have tried to stay at 185 for the trilogy with Izzy. That's what I would have went for. But the weight cut is pretty significant, so maybe it's too hard now.
Yep,
and that's the biggest problem.
I think
that's the biggest problem.
That might be what it is. I think it might be the weight cut. But you mentioned a lot of great options for Pereira's first fight at 205, right? Yuri, I think, is out of the question because he's hurt, but anybody else? Magomed Ankalaev, Jan Blachowicz, we haven't seen those two guys since they fought each other. We don't know who their next opponent is going to be, so that would be interesting. Even a guy like Anthony Smith or Nikita Krylov. There's some good fights at 205 for Pereira, and we'll see. I agree with you. I tend to think that he might not be as successful. He might not have that one-punch knockout ability at 205 like he did at 185, but he's an excellent striker, and technically he's very, very sound. I think he's going to have success. I just don't know if he'll have success as far as becoming champion in that weight class too, but you never know, man. You never know. He's a bad dude.
He seems pretty confident.
But he just got knocked unconscious, right? Like, let's not forget that.
Let's not forget. Whoa. Let's not forget also.
Well, hang on. He just got knocked unconscious, did Pereira, right? Like, clean out, slept.
Man,
and he's 35 years old, right? And this is the first time he was knocked out in his MMA career, and I believe he suffered a TKO in kickboxing a couple of times, but nothing. I don't know if he's ever, like, I've not seen his TKO loss to Artur Kishenko in kickboxing, but I don't know if he's ever been knocked out clean like that, like boom, out, sent to the sleepy town. That's something that some fighters never ever come back from. So, jumping up in weight, coming off a massive loss where you get knocked unconscious, that could be an issue for him. At 35 years old, it's not like he's getting better. He's not getting better. He's going to be undersized, and he's coming off a knockout loss. Like, it might be shitty for him at 205. He might go up there and get knocked out again and again, and then that might be a wrap for Pereira, We've seen guys just completely fizzle out, and, like, honestly, if you ask me, what are the odds of him having success versus no success? I would say it's stronger no success, right? Like, people think he's very good. Against the elite of the division. Say it again?
Against the elite. Like, I see him having success maybe against Anthony Smith, against Krylov, but once you get to Jamal Hill, Yuri, Magomed, like, those guys are another level, man.
If he gets there, though. If he gets there. And they may throw him right in the deep end immediately, and it may be rough, Like, again, 35 years old, coming off a knockout loss, jumping up in weight. It's not usually a recipe for, hey, I'm going to be a champion up here, right? It doesn't usually work out that well for guys. I can't think of anyone that it's ever worked out for in the history of the sport.
Dave,
Just saying.
even though he lost, man, he was looking good just up to the rope-a-dope or
Sure.
octagon thing, whatever he did. I called it on when we were watching it live. I said he's doing the rope-a-dope. And that's the thing, is that he could have got caught, and he was getting caught. There was a flurry of, like, punches and knees. You know, Pereira was looking good. It was looking to the point that he was going to take Israel out. And then all of a sudden, bam, bam, he was down on the canvas. The thing is that up to that point, Pereira was looking good. He was looking sharp. He was looking controlled. He was looking like he was going to skate through this fight. And I was like, man, Israel doesn't look good, man. But, again, it's 3-1, man. People keep forgetting that. It's his first loss. Yeah, probably his first KO loss in his professional fight career. But the thing is that he's still 3-1, 1-1 in the UFC. If you're asking me, I want to see another fight between these two guys. I can see him going up to 205. I think his thinking is that if I go up to 205 and I become champion, Israel's going to move up, and we can have, like, our fourth fight in, like, a totally different division. That would be, like, the most beautiful Disney, like, storyline. That would be amazing. But you know that's not going to happen.
Nope.
It's going to be difficult. But at 185...
The only way that happens is if he becomes champion, because if you're Izzy, why would you go fight him at 205? Make him lose the weight, man. Drain him. Because if anything, a smaller weight cut is just going to advantage Pereira. It's not going to advantage Izzy. So if you're Izzy, the only reason you would go fight him at 205 is if he's the champion. And I have my doubt that's going to happen.
Yep. I agree. I don't know. I think it might be a tough road for Pereira at 205. The more I think about it, the more I think I don't know. I don't know, buddy. I hope it goes well for him. I hope he kicks everybody's ass and does well, but I don't know.
Listen, man, and let's not forget, like, he did do well against Yan. Like, it wasn't a bad fight from Israel.
I'm talking about Pereira moving up to 205. Yeah, no, Israel.
No, but I'm just talking about Israel. Let's think
Israel
about
going
it.
up to 205. Well. I almost have more faith in because he's younger. He's coming off a win, and yeah, I don't know.
Been there.
But I think stylistically, honestly, Jamal Hill is a good matchup for Israel or Pereira because he's not a big, strong wrestler, right? Like, he's going to stand up with them at least. Like, Jan Blachowicz was a bad matchup for Izzy because he outweighed him by like 40 pounds and he wanted to wrestle, you know? But Jamal Hill is not a huge guy and he's not going to wrestle. So in a stand-up fight, I think Pereira and Israel Adesanya, they both have a shot against pretty much anybody at 205 or 185 in a pure stand-up fight. And that's what Jamal Hill's going to give him, right? So stylistically, it's not bad if they can get the title fight. And really, like, Jamal Hill, he's sitting there. He's got no opponent. The UFC might give Israel Adesanya Jamal Hill because Khamzat is not clearly the number one contender. There's no clear number one contender at 185. There's no clear number one contender at 205. Like, fans may want one thing or another. Like, Khamzat and Israel is a fun, exciting matchup, but because Khamzat's not ranked in the UFC, in their middleweight division, it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough to give him a title shot when there's other guys like Dreykus who might be more deserving. But I don't know how many people want to pay for a pay-per-view featuring Dreykus and Israel unless it's a Battle of Africa in Africa and there's, like, pride on the line. Like, maybe they could sell it that way, but I'm not sure they're ready to go to Africa yet, and I'm not sure they're ready to give Dreykus a title shot. So, honestly, you look at the 205 division with Yuri out with an injury, Jamal Hill's got no clear opponent. His last opponent, Glover Teixeira, just retired. I mean, Israel and Jamal Hill is not a crazy idea because there's a lack of challengers in both divisions. Don't be surprised if they make that fight. It's about selling pay-per-views. Yeah. It's about big fights. But again, if you're the UFC, you kind of screw yourself because you only have so many champions and you want to spread them out. And I don't know if putting your middleweight champion up against your light heavyweight champion is the best thing to do because then, you know, Israel doesn't defend the middleweight title and you could main event a pay-per-view with Israel defending the middleweight title, right? Like, that's two pay-per-view guys in one fight where you could kind of do two separate pay-per-views with them, and they like to spread it out. But
what did you guys think of
given Israel the title shot before? And when they gave it to him with the Yan fight, it kind of came out of nowhere. It was like, oh, he's fighting Blachowicz already? Like, that's kind of weird.
I liked it, man. Yan had to win the 4th and 5th really to take that fight.
It was a
in my
good fight.
opinion. But
Yeah, it was a good fight.
you know,
That's why I'm
but-
saying they might give Israel another shot because they recognize what we recognize, which is stylistically it's a better matchup for him than the Yan fight. And Israel Adesanya is a marketable guy. If the UFC didn't like Israel Adesanya and didn't think that he was good for their brand and their company, they would have given him a Pereira rematch. That's what I think. I think the UFC recognized, hey, Israel got the win here. We're done with that. We can move on. We could keep the Israel Adesanya money train going. And I think that's kind of what they're doing. And to have him as double champ would only, extend the brand and make him a bigger star. So do not be surprised if he gets that title shot. If his coach is talking about it, it's because there's been discussions. I'm telling you. It might happen. Okay.
Listen, I was gonna say,
you want to make some money?
What did you guys think of? No, wait. I was gonna say one thing, man. What did you think of his post fight interview? Did you hear Israel's post fight? Israel, man.
Yeah, it was all right.
That was insane. I thought it was a bit edgy.
What did he say?
I thought
What
it was.
did he say? I forget.
What didn't he say, man? He was just saying all kinds of crazy shit. Really like some people got offended. I know
Give me
that.
an example.
There was a lot of. Oh man, there was too much stuff. I mean, at one point at the end, like to end the interview, he basically takes his glass and smashes it on the ground. It was.
So he smashed the
He's
glass.
full of it.
Yeah, he's a character, man. Like
Okay. Anything else? Anything specific that you could tell me
man,
that
there was
he
so
said
much, man. There was so
that
much,
offended
man.
you?
It was just like
He looked happy.
I don't know, man.
I
Yeah.
love the whole celebration, the whole arrow thing. Like there was a lot of emotion behind that, man. And I'm pro emotion, man. I'm pro guys showing their emotion. Man, the guy lost 3 times in a row to Pereira, man. It's like he got the exorcist out of Pereira, man. He destroyed his monster, man. Pereira was his boogeyman, and he beat him, man. So after that, man, the guy's feeling like $1 million. So I'm not gonna judge him by that, man. I could understand him getting like crazy and all that, man. You just defeated the guy that beat you 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna
What
celebrate.
did you not like, AJ? I don't know what your problem is.
There was a
What's
lot
his
going on, man.
arrogance,
I
probably.
just found that he was about his arrogance of being a champion and this and that. I just found like it was.
I like
just-
Pereira's coach who put up in the air 3-1 while Adesanya was celebrating. Pereira's coach went 3-1 to the crowd, and I think maybe that's where AJ has issues with, because Adesanya said basically that it was finished for him. This rivalry was finished. He was moving on to something else, and yeah, man, he's a little arrogant about it. But who cares, man? He just fucking that's his boogeyman that he just defeated, man.
Man, people are comparing this
but
guy
he's
to
still
Anderson
21,
Silva.
man.
People are talking about Israel Adesanya in the same breath as Anderson Silva as far as greatest middleweight champions of all time. He deserves to be arrogant. He's amazing. He's very good at fighting. He deserves to have a little bit of an ego. And you know what? It helps him. It's part of what makes him great.
And
Yeah, I
that
guess you're
knockdown
right.
he had against Pereira is very similar to when he knocked him down in their first MMA fight that Pereira got saved by the bell. So if anything, man, Izzy is super talented, man. He sees these little openings where, man, he was in trouble and he found that little opening and capitalized, man. So I got no problem, man. Izzy is a legend. I got no problem with people that back up their talent to be arrogant, man. If you're gonna talk the talk, just back it up, and that's what Izzy does.
Yep.
And listen,
He
man,
is
just going in.
greatness.
No, he is. He definitely is. And I mean, like, when we watch a fight, we look at like the way they walk in, and we were saying, myself and Dave, it's like, oh shit, he's dancing and he's moving around, he's flying in the crowd. And in fact, I was reading an article on like his coach, Eugene Behrman. Actually, Eugene Behrman and his staff were like looking at each other saying, man, something is not right here. They were a little bit concerned about Israel, like sort of like going all over the place, and whatnot. And we said the same thing. We're like, oh man, he looks a little bit, I don't know if it's nerves or whatnot or overconfidence or something, but he was looking a bit weird. But in the end, like you said, Freddie, he came out and he did what he had to do, man. He slayed the dragon, and he's up there with Anderson. There's no doubt about it. In fact, he probably fought more dangerous guys than Anderson in the end, but hey, I mean, they had
He's a showman, man. And the sport
He is a
needs
showman.
people like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, he is. He's a good guy, bad guy. Like, his post conference.
He's great.
I don't
was
see him
really
as arrogant at all. Like, that's the weird
Well,
thing, AJ.
I see a little bit, but
I don't pick
Yeah.
up on that at all. I just see him as a confident guy who's having fun, who's at the top of his game, who's just like he's confident, but I don't see it as arrogant at all. I mean, he seems in check. He seems grounded. He's got his family around him always. He seems like he's got his priorities in order. I think we see a lot of arrogant, overconfident UFC fighters consistently. A lot of guys are arrogant. A lot of guys think that their shit doesn't stink. But Israel Adesanya does not come across that way to me. I never got that from Israel. Like, I feel John Jones is a little more arrogant than Israel, just the way he presents himself. But, I mean, also, he's ridiculously good. So I think it's just ego and confidence, in a lot of ways. Arrogant. I think Kobe Covington is an arrogant guy. I think he's really I think Jorge Masvidal is an arrogant guy. I think Conor McGregor, a lot of these guys that are writing checks that their fists can't cash, those guys, I think, are more arrogant. They're, Masvidal was talking about violencia and murder and this and that, and, he just got his ass kicked. He really didn't bring much to the fight whatsoever, and he retired after the fight like he should. Conor McGregor talks about being one of the greatest fighters in the history of MMA, and he has 0 title defenses to his record. So, I think that there's arrogance in the sport, but I don't see it from Israel Adesanya. I see it from a lot of guys, kind of the loudmouth, over-the-top, tell you how great I am guys. But Israel, will speak frankly about how good he believes he is, and then we'll show you how good he is. And, if anything, I'm sorry I doubted him last week when I was previewing the fight. I was like, man, I don't know. I think it's a close fight, but I feel like Pereira's got his number. He was 3-0 on Israel. I thought, maybe he got inside Israel's head, but the mental strength is what astonishes me. Like, just imagine a guy knocks you out and then you have to go fight him again. I'd be like, man, I don't know. I think I'm going to retire. Like, Israel's probably got a couple million in the bank, you figure. He defended the UFC title for a while. He's got to be reasonably well off. He loses to Pereira and he's like, let me get right back in there. Like, that's balls. That's mental fortitude. If a guy did that to me, I'd be like, I don't know, man. It sucks.
And listen, man.
I might want to get revenge. Revenge, I understand, but man, just the balls to go out there and do it time and time again, and to fight Pereira and to just fight these monsters. He is, he is a beast in his own right? But he's just,
Pereira did good.
He's mentally strong. He's very mentally strong.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you something, Dave. We're saying that, but there's a lot of people that are agreeing with me. I just saw something on Rumble, actually, Freedom559. What's up, bud? He actually said it. He goes, Izzy is arrogant. He humped Paulo Costa after he beat him. It was totally unprofessional. That's the thing with Izzy, man. He really sparks a lot of plugs, man. And I'm telling you, the post-conference, to me, was like, holy shit, man. It was over the edge, man. And I'm telling you, man,
I'm okay with it, man.
I thought it was funny when he humped Paulo Costa. I thought it was funny. Because Paulo Costa was talking all that shit. Paulo Costa was saying, Israel Adesanya is gay, and Israel Adesanya does this, and he was saying a lot of things about Israel Adesanya and his personal life and all sorts of stuff about Israel before the fight, and then he got knocked out with the quickness, and then Israel did a little hump on him because, this is what I don't understand, AJ. You're cool with Israel Adesanya taunting a child, but you don't want him to do a little humpity hump on Paulo Costa after he beat his ass? Get the hell out of here, man. What are you talking about? Just because you love Paulo Costa.
I don't think AJ was cool with the child, that thing. Because when I brought it up, AJ was... exactly.
Hey,
but I want to say one thing.
Well, stop being a bitch, AJ.
I want to say one thing, man. We talked about Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva lost to Chris Weidman, and when the rematch came back, he lost again. Fucking Izzy, he avenged his loss, man. If anything, man, that's a thing for Izzy to be in the discussion of the greatest middleweight, man. It might still be Anderson Silva, but hey, Izzy has a solid track record, and if he keeps winning, man, he'll be the greatest middleweight.
Yeah, I agree with you. If he keeps going, a few more title defenses, and it's like, all right, maybe he's the best ever.
Avenged his loss.
But have we ever seen Israel Adesanya go full Matrix mode like Anderson Silva did? Like, Anderson Silva was so far ahead of the pack. It was more impressive because some of the fights he had were just, like, superhuman. You know, like, it didn't seem real. Israel Adesanya seems like a real human being, but he just kicks major ass. Anderson Silva seemed like an alien, and everybody else was just regular, you know?
Well, he was untouchable, right? When we saw him fight Chael Sonnen, even when he's losing, you expect the guy to win. And the Chael Sonnen fight was a great example. There was less than a minute to go. I mean, Anderson was losing that whole fight, and he came and he, like, submitted him with 2 types of submissions to win that fight. And that's the special thing that Anderson had.
The kick,
he had this mystique.
You know, the crane kick to knock out Vitor, the movements on Bonner and Griffin, the way he beat those guys. Like, he just made these good fighters seem like they had no idea what they were doing. And Israel Adesanya has knocked people out and looked good, but, like, you know, Anderson made people look dumb. Anderson made people look stupid in there. And Israel, you know, he makes people look less good at him in the cage. You know what I'm saying? It's like, Israel just seems more skilled. Anderson seemed like way more skilled. Like, these guys weren't even in his realm. It was a different thing with Anderson.
But it's also a different time, too. You know, when Anderson Silva was in the mix of things, I mean, it was just, he was
a different time. The sport is better now.
But he was way ahead of the martial artists of that time, you know? And it did catch up. Like, I always bring it up, and I know you're gonna jump on me, but the time he fought Pat Cote was the beginning of Anderson Silva's
I thought you were going to say Chris Weidman, because, it caught up to him with Weidman. But...
No, because Pat Cote was the first guy that brought him to 3 rounds. Anderson Silva never went to 3 rounds at that point. He was so good that he had that Mike Tyson capability. He would make you lose before you even started the fight. And that's the thing with Anderson Silva. He's still mystical to me. In my opinion, one of the greatest fighters that I've ever seen in the UFC. Regardless of his losses to Weidman, I think he was showboating, which caught him, and that's exactly what happened. But his time was already done, man. The toast was burnt. You know, he should have retired before he fought Weidman, in my opinion. And you know what? It wouldn't have been as bad as it was today. But still, Anderson Silva he's still there, man. He's still relevant. And all
Anderson
the things,
Silva.
You know,
yep, for sure. We love him. He's a legend.
Yeah.
You know, but his
legend,
time
man.
is over. He got knocked down by Jake Paul, and now we'll see if Nate Diaz will suffer the same fate. Jake Paul's going to box Nate Diaz. It's official. Before we talk about that, though, I want to give a couple shout-outs. Give a shout-out to Tony and Thomas watching us out in England. Tony Mack, a member of the team over at join.ringsidereport.net. Don't forget to be like Tony and go to join.ringsidereport.net. Doug Hepburn dropping a super chat. Doug went to watch hockey, but he's going to watch our show later, but he dropped a super chat, so I guess he's forgiven.
Canadians,
but,
man,
I mean,
prediction. They're going to lose, dude. They're going to lose.
Yeah, they always lose. Aren't they just losers? They're losers.
Dude, man. And that's
Johnny North watching too. Shout out to Johnny. Shout out to Doug. Shout out to Brooklyn Lizard. Shout out to everybody watching us on Rumble, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook.
Snitch?
I don't think that's a thing. Eagle 999, Freedom 559. Freedom,
man.
I'm going to leave my comments about Kid Rock to myself because I'm sure some of our Rumble viewers
don't mess with Kid Rock, man. Don't mess with Kid Rock.
Oh, my God.
Freddie, jump
what
him.
a goofy
Freddie,
dude.
take it. Don't mess with Kid, man.
Yeah. Keep shooting
don't mess
beer
with
cans.
Kid.
That's gonna make a
shoot
point.
As much as you want.
Let me ask you something.
I like that.
You think Kid Rock is on the right side of history?
He makes great music, dude.
On what?
Just in general. Just his views.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think he's generally on the right side? Like, I don't know. I'll leave my comments to myself. All right?
Yeah,
but honestly,
probably a good idea.
I don't really pay
probably
attention.
A good idea.
To
Shut up,
his
AJ. Fucking
Captain
goofball.
America.
Yes. Ridiculous.
Listen, man, all to say is this.
No, I'm going to tell you this. All to say is this. I'm not going to let you say all to say is this because I know whatever's going to come afterwards is going to be horrible. So Jake Paul is going to fight Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz is going to box Jakey Paul. It's happening in August on DAZN, which is still around apparently. And they're going to box. I think it's going to be in Texas. How about it? I got Nate because Jake Paul totally sucks. He lost to Tommy Fury.
What?
Tommy Fury sucks too.
Whoa. Yeah, but listen.
Those guys suck.
That wasn't. Listen, whoa, Dave.
Whoa,
you, man,
nothing.
I'm going to tell you.
How did he
don't
beat
diss
Anderson?
Jake Paul, man.
He didn't. The judges were in his pocket. He dropped Anderson in the last round, but he lost like most of the rounds. Jake Paul totally sucks.
Fake
Fake fights,
he still beat Anderson
fake
Silva,
fighter,
man. He still beat Anderson
shitty
Silva
sports
and
drink.
won him.
Well, his brother has a shitty sports drink. Garbage.
It's actually pretty good.
Prime
man.
is garbage. I've tried
Way to
it.
go,
I've tried
Dave.
2
We lost our
flavors. I
sponsorship,
tried
though.
to give it some time. Shut up, AJ. They're not giving us a sponsorship, you goddamn jabroni. Fuck Prime. It sucks. It's too sweet. I don't understand
Way to
how
go,
anybody
Dave.
thinks that's a sports drink. It's a crap drink. Anybody drinking it needs to stop. Drink Gatorade. It's way better. They got more flavors. The flavors are actually
the
good.
hell
And
outta
it's not
here.
going to rot your teeth. Prime is garbage. Garbage.
I kind of liked it,
Nothing
man. When
beats
you gave it to me, I
H2O.
was.
Those Paul brothers.
That's true.
I don't know
Freddie's
what they're
got a
doing.
point.
No.
They know what
Logan's
they're
a
doing.
pretty good
What?
wrestler. Jake Paul sucks at boxing. Nate's gonna smash him.
Listen, man. He just He just lost once, man. So don't diss on the guy, Dave. Don't be a
I'm
hater. Don't be
dissing
one of
on
those
the
guys.
guy.
Listen,
I'll diss
I'm gonna
on
tell
you
you
too.
something.
Don't
Listen,
fucking
man.
try
I
me.
think. Listen, he did well, man. He lost to Tyson.
I'm gonna
to
diss
Tommy
on
Fury.
you.
But you know what? He's gonna win against Diaz, man. I guarantee you, he will.
No, he won't. Come on, man.
Oh yes, he will, man.
Nate
Oh,
Diaz
yes,
is
he
winning
will.
that.
Bet.
We are, dude. We're gonna put down a bet.
Bet.
It's not gonna be unless you want to do the bagels thing because you still
We'll
owe
do
me
a watch
bagels. And I
along.
think Johnny
It's
knows.
the
Johnny can
smart fight.
testify that you still owe me bagels.
Huh?
It's the smart
what?
fight for.
Yeah. It's been like
You'll never
3
get it.
years.
You'll
COVID
never
had to
get it.
come, and
It's
then
the
I
smart
didn't get my
fight for
bagels.
Jake Paul, because Jake Paul, like people are like, why isn't he rematching Tommy Fury? But if anything, if he loses a second time to Tommy Fury,
It's over.
the whole Jake Paul hype is over. So go for the Nate Diaz, make a lot of money. I hope Nate wins. I think he's gonna win. And that's probably the end after that of Jake Paul. And if
Hope so.
anything, man, he signed with PFL. If he goes to PFL, man, I was thinking the other day, I want to see his first fight. I got the perfect opponent for him.
Who?
Anybody pick a guess?
Nate Diaz.
Oh man,
No, Phil Brooks.
Ooh.
Phil Brooks.
He's
What?
not
CM
gonna
Punk?
fight again.
That would be a good idea. I like that idea, Freddie.
CM Punk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
man.
not fighting again.
That's a good idea.
He's like 45
Yeah, you
years
never know.
old.
So what?
He's done. He's going back to wrestling. He's going to wrestle.
But that would
He's
be
got a
good.
headline
I like
a
that.
stadium show in London in August, okay? Leave CM Punk alone. He's busy. We need to get him back in wrestling as long as Kenny and Matt and Nick allow it. Come on, Uncle Tony Khan. Get it together, Tony. God damn it. I'll talk about that tomorrow night on the wrestling show. I think CM Punk's
Throw
coming
it
back
away.
to AEW. They got to
Is
do
he?
it. I hope so.
That's what I've been reading. So
Yeah, it should happen. I don't want to see him fight. He's terrible. You know who should fight Jake Paul? Olivier
now?
Aubin. Give Olivier Aubin Mercier Jake Paul's
that's
first
too-
fight. Olivier is about to win another $1 million. He won the $1 million
He is,
tournament last year. He's about to do it again this year. He's the PFL lightweight champion, the $1 million winner. The $1 million tournament is on again. Olivier is going to fight his first round preliminary match tomorrow against Shane Burgos. And if you want to win some money, like I am going to do, I would bet on Olivier Aubin because OAM, the Canadian gangster, is actually the underdog going into this fight. He's plus
Yeah, it's
100, Burgos minus 123. So Olivier is not a heavy underdog, but he is somehow the underdog. And I think that's great because I'm going to win money betting on our buddy Olivier to smash the Burgos. I got Olivier to win tomorrow night at PFL 3. It's going down. And I think Olivier has a good shot of repeating his performance and winning this tournament. He's my pick. How could he not be?
listen, it's going to be a tough fight. There's no doubt about it. Burgos coming from the UFC, man. He's no chump change. This guy is dangerous. But I think Olivier, if he sticks to his game plan, man, and really controls the mat, the canvas, the octagon, whatever you want to call it, he's going to continue to win. But it's going to be a tough fight. Burgos is no chump change. It's going to be probably his hardest fight in that division, in my opinion. And if he
Shane
gets
Burgos, Shane Burgos is coming off a win in the UFC, 2 straight wins actually in the UFC, and his last fight was actually at 145. He's normally a 145er, Now going to be fighting at 155, which I think will be a problem for him going up against the very tough, very jacked Olivier. But Burgos' last fight was against another Montreal-based fighter, Charles Jourdain, and he beat him by majority decision. So that's kind of weird, fighting Jourdain and Olivier back-to-back there. Shane Burgos is, what has he got, a problem with people from Quebec or something? What is he?
Yeah, man.
What is he,
Maybe
a dick
he
or
does.
something? What's wrong with him? So Shane
might not
Burgos
like
is
who
public
did.
enemy number 1 in Montreal right now because this guy just came off a win over Jourdain, and Olivier is going to get some revenge from Montreal because Quebec is back again, tabarnak, right? That's the Quebec is back, tabarnak. That's the Olivier Aubin catchphrase. It's a good catchphrase. People are using it. It's very good. I like it. So I think
It's
Quebec
a pretty
is going to be
vulgar
back
word,
again.
but hey, man,
Quebec is
fine.
back again, baby. It's not vulgar in English. It's fine in
No,
English.
it's funny.
It means nothing. What is it exactly? It doesn't matter.
Doesn't
So
matter.
Olivier,
Tabernacle.
yeah,
Yes,
how is that a
see,
swear?
Freddy, pourquoi tu parles?
I don't know.
It's a weird
'Cause
swear.
French Canadians like to use religious words as swearing.
Yes,
And listen,
yes.
actually, you know what's funny that you're bringing up Olivier?
That's
He's
deep.
going to be fighting tomorrow.
Right.
But this
Oh,
week
yes.
he was all over. He was all over the news, Ollie, and they were making fun of him because he won $1 million. And the first thing he bought was like some like little trinkets or like he won't like splurge. Ollie will not.
I heard he bought a
splurge. So
bidet.
Yeah,
you know, a
That's what he
bidet is
bought.
nice.
Yeah.
It's not something that most people would go out and buy. I can assure you. But Ollie, man, he's a very interesting character.
Some people like that.
I mean, you know, you can
mean-
use the bidet.
rough
mean-
streets of St. Bruno, everybody has a bidet.
Yeah. Olivier now has one too.
He's part of the crowd, man.
Yeah.
Ah.
So big fight for Olivier. Wishing him luck tomorrow in Vegas. Apparently he had a big weight cut, so we'll see. We'll see.
But he's one
Um,
tough dude. He's used to that. He can handle it.
I heard he wasn't too thrilled with fighting again. Like he was maybe not wanting to do it this year. Maybe thinking about taking a year off, but PFL's like, no, you have to fight. So I don't know. I hope he wins. I think he will win. He's an underdog, but I don't know. I think he's got a good matchup here with Burgos. I think Burgos is a good.
What
winnable
time is the
for
fight
him.
starting at?
I don't know. Sometime. Fucking. What do you ask me for?
Because I want to know. Because I'm gonna watch it.
Why you put me on a spot? You're supposed to have research done. What time is the fight
I know,
tomorrow?
dude. Today I
don't
wasn't
know.
prepared at all.
I'm watching SmackDown
Usually I have all this
tomorrow.
info, man.
I gotta watch SmackDown tomorrow. Why you don't bother me?
Listen, actually, like I might
Check
be
your
doing,
local listings, motherfucker. How
Listen,
about
I might listen. I'm gonna be doing two things: watching probably those fights, and I'm probably gonna go be watching James Boom Boom Mancini doing a stand-up comedy at Melrose Place. So if you're hearing me, man, want to see some stand-up tomorrow in Montreal? James Boom Boom Mancini, former MMA fighter, former Commonwealth champion wrestler, one of the top dogs in Montreal, and he's super funny, man. So tomorrow night, I think it's at 8 p.m. James Boom Boom Mancini.
PFL starts at 9:30 tomorrow night. Yeah, but don't do any of that. You should watch Wrestling Uncensored tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time with me and Johnny. That's really
Yeah,
what you wanna
I'll
be
watch
doing.
it after. Well, don't worry,
No,
we'll
not
put in a
after.
plug.
no. It's what you need to be doing every Friday night, 10 p.m. right after SmackDown. We got a lot of wrestling to talk about tomorrow. A lot. There's a lot going on in professional wrestling. The wrestling world is always moving. It seems to move faster than the MMA world. MMA world is like, yeah, things are happening, whatever. Wrestling, like, there's always some drama somewhere, you know? There's always something
Well, the
going on.
UFC always has drama. What are you talking about? Like, there's always something happening in the UFC.
not
But
as-
with the merger happening, there's probably going to be a lot more soap opera style, like, action. I mean, John Jones is going to be a hit. He's probably going to have a kids show by the time it's all over.
What the hell are you talking about? Nothing you said made any sense. With the merger,
Yeah, man,
there's going to be more
Yeah.
drama. John
Yeah,
Jones
there
is going to
is,
have a
man.
kid's show. None of that made sense. It's just disjointed
man,
words.
you-
I
man,
recognize
you'll
some of the
see.
words, but they didn't have an order to them that I could comprehend.
Listen, man, WWE is going to be more creative. You know,
WWE is
like
going
you
to
were
be
talking-
more creative.
No, wait,
How do you
hold on a
mean?
second. The WWE, with the merger, hopefully they bring some other creative team over to the UFC so they can make things a little bit more storyline-ish, more interesting.
More storyline-ish in the UFC? You want there to be written storylines in the UFC? You want it to
like
be fake?
more like nah,
you want to
more
make the UFC
storylines
fake?
and that's- Oh, you motherfucker! If I could only choke you through the screen, it would be nice.
Yeah, but could you though? Even if you tried, I don't know.
Oh, 100%. I'll choke you out like there's no tomorrow.
I don't know, AJ.
Don't play me. Don't play me, you guys, man, because I've been on the mat every week, man, with 20-year-olds. So I'm ready, dude.
Yeah. How many of them are black belts? Because I'm rolling with brown belts and black belts. It's a pretty legit people more than once a week. So I don't know, AJ. I think I have more practice than you. And I'm like much younger, and I'm getting better and better every day and more jacked. I don't know, AJ. I don't know, AJ. Like,
either or, man.
You know, maybe a couple years ago, but now I think you'd have a harder time. So come and get me, AJ. Come and get me.
I prepared my bag already. And I prepared it like early today, man, because tomorrow's my day back at jiu-jitsu. And I already like have my bag ready with everything in it, my mouthpiece, everything I need. I'm ready. I'll be back.
Yeah, but be careful there. Don't start going like kamikaze there, because when you have a knee injury, especially with a short time since the operation, you got to be careful, man. You know what I mean? Right. Just wear your knee braces and roll light, man. Like really roll light. Don't fool around. I'm telling you, Freddie.
Yeah.
Take it from me, man.
If you roll it all, Fred, we could just like flow roll and roll super light. And I won't go for leg locks on you. Like, I promise. I'm not.
I probably want to try positions more than anything.
Yeah, that's fine.
I want to see how it feels having my guard closed. I want to see how it feels having somebody's back. Because those are the things that scare me the most is people fighting my legs. So let's say I have somebody's back and, you know, they're fighting my legs. That's where I'm like, I wonder how my knee's going to react. But it's probably okay, man. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, but again, like, you know, you always got – I would say for the next couple of weeks, just flow roll. You know what I mean?
I probably won't roll tomorrow. Technique, mostly.
Yeah, and even then when you do the techniques, it has to be like super, like detailed, slow, and just like, not that you don't know it, but it's just that you don't want to
Doctor cleared me, man.
Injure something.
Good.
He's cleared to go. And I'll partner up with him for technique, AJ. Don't worry. I'll take care of him. I'm super light.
Yeah, because I hate to hear, like, you know, because I've seen it so many times where people come in and they just, like, destroy their knee again. It's like, what the fuck? Why?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's just like, you're not going pro. You're not going this. Take it easy, dude.
Wait, Fred's not going pro?
You got to work.
Not
saying that.
I thought Fred was entering the UFC, like, next week. I was
ready. 45 was my year.
Yeah. 45, baby.
45 is the number, baby.
That's when
the thing is.
That's when you really hit your athletic peak, right? That's 45 years old. That's when all the UFC fighters get good.
A lot of people like the number 45.
Our Rumble viewers, shout out to Rumble. They love it.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Anyways, all I'm to say is...
It's funny because it really is, like, not my style, but it's your style. You guys are bringing the funk. All right, let's talk about UFC Kansas City going down this weekend. And we've got a big fight in the main event. It's Arnold Allen taking on Max Holloway. Damn. This is a hell of a fight here, guys. Holloway is always tough, former champion. He's basically unbeatable. But Arnold Allen has been on a ridiculous run. He's plus 150, the underdog. Holloway minus 184, the favorite going into this over at bet99.com. And I tend to agree with those odds. I feel like Max Holloway is better than he's ever been right now. I feel like the last time we saw Max Holloway fight against Volkanovski, you know, his last fight was against Volkanovski, and he got outclassed a little bit. But Volkanovski is on another level. I mean, Volkanovski just took it to the 155 champion and almost beat him. Holloway, outside of Volkanovski, is smashing everybody. Yair Rodriguez, the current 145 interim champ, Calvin Kattar, Frankie Edgar, Brian Ortega, Jose Aldo, Anthony Pettis. The list goes on and on of guys that have been taken care of by Max Blessed Holloway. And he's only 31. He's ridiculously young for the amount of experience that he has. He came into the UFC, I think he was 20, 21, back in 2012. He's been fighting in the UFC for 11 years.
Yep.
And he's pretty much won all of his fights. He's had a few losses here and there, but 3 of them are to Volkanovski, and a couple of them are to Dustin Poirier, and one of them's to Conor McGregor. And we're talking peak Conor, not current Conor. So, Max Holloway is one of the best featherweights, not only in the UFC currently, but of all time. Arnold Allen has quietly been making a ridiculous run here. He is undefeated in the UFC. And he's been fighting in the UFC since 2015. Guys, this guy has won 9 straight inside of the octagon. Sorry, 10. Whoops.
Actually, he's on a 12-fight winning streak.
He's on a 12-fight win streak, right? But 10 of those fights have been in the UFC.
That's serious, man.
You know? And he's beat some pretty good guys. Gilbert Melendez, Nick Lentz, Dan Hooker, Calvin Kattar. He's beat some of the top of the top. And he's only 29 years old. So this is a tremendous fight. Like, this is a great fight between 2 of the top featherweights in the world. Whoever wins this fight could be next in line. May fight the winner of Yair and Volkanovski. Because that's next, by the way. Yair is going to unify that interim belt there with Volkanovski, and we'll see who the real champion is. I'm going to say probably Volkanovski, but hey, it's a fun fight. But here, Allen, if he beats Holloway, you got to imagine that he gets a title shot 100%. To me, if you beat Max Holloway at featherweight, you get a title shot. Like, that's just how it works. Because that's who Max Holloway is. He's the gatekeeper, unfortunately, for him, to Volkanovski. But I think a win here for Allen, he gets the title shot. A winner here for Holloway, he remains one of the top in the world. He remains, he keeps his spot. Maybe he fights Yair. Like, Holloway's got to be hoping Yair finds a way to beat Volkanovski, and then Holloway could find his way to another title shot against Yair, because a 4th fight with Volkanovski and Holloway might be tough to sell.
Well, not to him, because he was listening to Israel and actually looking at Israel being able to slay the dragon, said it encouraged him so much that there is a way. So he feels supercharged that he can actually find a way to beat Volk. So, that's
sure. I mean, that's nice and
like,
all,
fairy dust,
but it's 0-3 in the UFC. It's not like, well, there was 2 kickboxing matches and 1 fight in the UFC he lost. It's like Holloway, the UFC fans have seen Holloway lose to Volkanovski 3 times now.
And they were all very, like, they were decisive. Like,
the last one especially.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there wasn't any controversy there. Volkanovski won. So, yeah, the best thing for Max would be Yair to become the champion and to maybe get a shot against him at some point. Man, I'm struggling, man. All the time you were talking about it, I was switching. I was doing, like, a parlay. I started with Max, then I went with Arnold, and I don't know who to pick, man. I'm not putting this fight on my parlay. I think it's a very close fight because, like you say, Max, man, he doesn't lose to anybody else but the top of the top. So I feel he has a chance. I'm leaning. I'm going to pick Max to win, but I wouldn't be surprised. Arnold, man, he's on a 10-fight winning streak in the UFC, 12 overall. This guy's a winning machine, and he might have the style to bring the fight to stop a Max. So I'm going to go with Max, but I'm not putting this fight on my parlay.
And like we were saying earlier, like when you look at Holloway, man, he's like one of the greatest fighters like in the game. His boxing skills are like ridiculous. But the problem is the wear and tear that he receives at every fight. This guy, every time he comes out of a fight, he looks like Edward Scissorhands. It's ridiculous. And I'm telling you, I think the wear and tear is catching up to him. But if you look at his stats, we were talking earlier, Holloway has the UFC record for the most significant strikes. He's hit 2,975. And he's landed the most in a fight against Kattar 2 years ago. He landed 445 significant strikes. I mean, this guy is just like a loading machine, and he gives as much as he takes. The problem is that Brendan Allen, man, he is just
Arnold.
a beast in the making.
Arnold Allen.
Arnold Allen. He's a beast in the making. And if you look at him in the past, like his coaches were saying, like they didn't like push him like, you know, like we saw with Sage Northcutt and all this kinds of crazy stuff with Rojas and all that. They slowly brought him into the game and fought at like a steady pace to bring him to where he is today. This guy is not like overcommitting. He's fought like recognizable and reputable fighters to get to where he is today. I think Brendan Allen's like leg kicks are so devastating, and I think that Arnold. I keep saying Brendan. Arnold. Happy Arnold. His kicks, man. I was looking at some of his footage. His kicks are like crazy. They're devastating, and I think this is what the difference is to beat Max Holloway. If he uses his kicking game, he's going to beat him. And even his wrestling ability and submission levels, man, are crazy. But like through his career, he has 7 KOs, where I think Holloway has how many? He has 10 KOs, and he's been in the game a lot longer. This is going to be a tough fight for Max Holloway. I think, like you said, he is the gatekeeper, but his time has come because the wear and tear on this guy is ridiculous. I mean, we saw him like in interviews, like we were saying earlier with Michael Bisping. At one point, he wasn't making sense at all. There was something wrong. They actually had to stop like the interview to say like, "Are you okay?" I think Max's time is coming, and I think this is going to be. Yeah, but it's not only the weed, dude. It's like just like the mental fatigue to get like through the camp to get to the fight. I think it's too much. I think
Maybe he doesn't
Allen is
want to
going
talk
to be the guy.
Bisping. Just like Bisping, man. You pissed me off, man. Leave me alone.
He was tired, and
but-
he's never appeared that way ever again. So I think that was an anomaly.
Exactly. It's a long time ago, man.
Yeah.
But look,
Come on,
read
man.
too much
You've
into
never partied too much over a night, and the next day you.
man, there was something weird about that whole thing, man, and it still bothers me. But the thing is that he couldn't get Volk. I think the second fight it was different, but I think he's at a point right now where you're coming up against Allen, and he's the guy right now. And if he wins, he's going to be a very difficult fight for Volk. If Volk
So you're
doesn't win,
picking Allen?
I'm picking Allen on this fight.
I'm going with Holloway. I think Holloway gets it done, but I think it goes to decision.
Look, one thing with Holloway, he has a granite chin, man. His chin, man, is one thing that keeps him in the game. The thing is with him is that his chin.
You say
Granite.
granite?
That's what I said.
Granite?
So the thing is, granite, man, granite. He has a solid chin, and this is one thing that hasn't
How you
faltered
pronounce
on him.
it?
Like he's taking a beating over and over, and
Granite,
he does
Because
it
it
like,
is a word.
like yeah.
Granite.
So the thing is like you look at guys like in the past. One guy I know for sure was like Pat Cote, man. When Pat Cote was fighting, nobody can knock this guy out until he met Cowboy Cerrone. But yeah, it's the second time, but it's all relevant. You couldn't knock out Pat Cote. You can hit him with a baseball bat, and he wasn't going to go down. But it came a point where, he couldn't use that. Chin was done, and Cowboy Cerrone exposed that. The only thing with Holloway is no one has done that yet. So that's the edge that he has. Like, it's going to be hard to knock him out. But I think Allen's going to beat him on points. I think he's going to be able to get him on the rounds. He's never gone past, 3 rounds, obviously. Holloway has gone, I think in his last 7 fights, he's gone 25 minutes. Yep, that's it. In his last 7 fights, he's gone the distance. So
will the
we'll
fight
see,
go
man.
the distance? Yes, minus
Yes.
143,
Yep.
no, plus 100.
Yes.
So
Yes,
yes
it'll go
is
to
the
will.
yes is the favorite.
And Max is going to win a decision.
Yeah.
Because I think Max, if this stays as a stand-up battle, I think Max will edge that out. Now, if Allen could get some takedowns, maybe get some ground and pound in or something, maybe. But I feel Max is the better fighter. But fuck, Arnold has been solid, so I'm not putting
Solid,
on
and
my
his leg
parlay. But
kicks,
I got Holloway.
Freddie,
Okay.
his leg kicks. And the only thing is that Allen has never gone past 3, and he kind of gassed out when he fought Sodiq Yusuff. In the third, man, he was gassed. Maybe it was just a bad night, but he was still able to win that fight. And it'll, I'm pretty sure it'll go to decision, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be Allen that takes away the win.
All right, well, we got some other interesting fights on this card. Co-main event, you got Edson Barbosa against Billy Quarantillo. Light heavyweight fight, you got Dustin Jacoby and Azamat Murzakanov. Ion Kutalaba taking on the Canadian Tanner Bozer at light heavyweight. Bozer dropping from heavy. Pedro Munoz taking on Chris Gutierrez. Clay Guida, the Carpenter, back in action against Rafa Garcia. That's an interesting fight. Bill Algeo takes on TJ Brown. Two of the best flyweights in the world doing battle on the prelims, Brandon Royval and Mateus Nicolau. That's a big fight. Ed Herman still in business. He's taking on Zach Cummings. And Canadian fighter Jillian Robertson fights Pereira Rodriguez. So a lot of big fights here on not only the undercard, but the prelim card as well. It's not a fight night in the Apex, so they actually stacked this card because they needed to sell tickets in Kansas City. So it's actually a pretty solid UFC fight night coming up on Saturday. Fred's been telling us about his parlay. He's over there. He's trying to tinker with it, figure out how to make the most money for Team Fred. So let's get to it. Let's hear what Fred has to say. Fred, what's your parlay?
I'm going again with a double dog.
Ooh.
I'm going with Edson Barbosa, who's going to beat Billy.
Okay.
Quarantillo. Why am I picking Barbosa? He has a win over Burgos, and Quarantillo lost to Burgos. And we talked a lot about Shane Burgos, so I got Edson Barbosa winning that fight. And I'm going to parlay it with Hazamat Mirzakhanov.
Yes.
Because he has a killer name, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not betting against an Azamat.
Mirzakhanov. Azamat is undefeated, 12-0 as a pro fighter, and he's coming in against Dustin Jacoby here at light heavyweight as a plus 133 underdog. And I do like Azamat in that fight as well, Freddie. I think that is a solid parlay, the double parlay there from Fred. Double dog parlay for Team Fred, Edson Barbosa, and Azamat Mirzakhanov. $20 on that double dog parlay will get you a pretty good payout, $116.84 on your 20 with those two dogs, Mirzakhanov and Barbosa. That is your Team Fred parlay. I like it. I do like it. AJ, you got one?
Yeah. So, obviously, you know that I'm going with Arnold, happy Arnold Allen for this. And I'm going to go with Freddie with Edson Barbosa. I mean, we were talking a lot about Shane Burgos, and you're right. He knocked him out in the third round, if I'm not mistaken. So Edson Barbosa, been in the game for a long time. I'm going to go with him. The Azamat, I think I'm going to go with Freddie on that. Dustin Jacoby, man, dangerous like kickboxer and whatnot. But the thing with Azamat, when he goes wild and he lets those hands loose, it's going to be a crazy, crazy fight.
Just one thing to note about that fight, just as a bit of a warning, Azamat, 5'10", 71-inch reach. Dustin Jacoby, 6'3", 78-inch reach. Just so you guys know.
Yeah, that's his game, is the striking game. And that's what I was trying to say, is like if Jacoby comes in and is able to control that striking game, it's going to be his fight to win. But the thing with Azamat, like, you know, he's dangerous, man. But if he comes out all kamikaze like he does, wild hands like I expect him to be, he's going to be able to win this. He's 12-0 for a reason. I think he's going to be able to handle Dustin. Then I'm going to go with Tanner Boser, man. Tanner Boser, man, he's gotten a lot better. He's, in different weight. It's going to be interesting. So our Canadian man, Tanner Boser, for the win over Kutalaba. And then I'm going to go with Gutierrez for the win. Gutierrez?
Gutierrez.
That's what I said, man.
Gutierrez. Say it with me.
Gutierrez.
No, Gutierrez. No, Dave. C'est pas comme ça.
No, it is.
You say it like Canadian. I'm saying it like, Gutierrez.
No one says Gutierrez. Gutierrez is not a word.
Deleso?
If you said it in Spanish, it'd be Gutierrez. What the hell are you talking about, Gutierrez?
So put down Gutierrez for the win. And then
somebody should shoot some Gutierrez in your face.
You like that, eh?
You would.
You think it is?
Fucking guy.
Gutierrez sounds like a
Gouda
cheese, you know? Gutierrez.
What do you got for me? What's your parlay,
Man,
pendejo?
I was gonna go with Clay Guida, but you know what? I'm gonna stay away from that fight. You know,
probably
I love
a good
Clay.
idea. What's your parlay? Is it only 3 fights?
That was it.
That's it?
What 3
fights?
About?
No, he had more than 3 fights.
What are you talking about? Are you on crack, Dave?
I stopped listening to you. Once you said Gutierrez, I lost my mind. You take Boser or Kutalaba? You took Kutalaba?
But he has Arnold, and he has Edson.
Yes, and then I have Azamat, Tanner Boser, and then Gutierrez.
Yeah.
It's a 5-fight parlay. It's
okay,
another
it's a 5-fight
parlay.
parlay.
What have you been, man?
I've been lost in your nonsense.
Stay in the game. Yeah, my nonsense is going to win. That's the difference.
Yeah, except you never, ever, 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 ever do. Arnold Allen, Edson Barboza. Look at all these underdogs that you're parlaying. You're fucked. Your parlay's going to lose. I know it already. Arnold Allen.
We'll see, man.
We will see. It's going to be great because you will lose. I mean, you're definitely going to lose. You always lose. And it's 5 fights, and most of them are underdogs. I mean, what do you think? You think Vegas is stupid? They don't know what they're doing? Arnold Allen, Edson Barboza, Azamat Murzakanov, Chris Gutierrez, and Tanner Boser. 4 out of 5 picks are underdogs for the main card. And let's see what ridiculous payout. Yes, $20 will get you $928.63, but you will never, ever win that because it's AJ's parlay and it sucks.
To Kansas, man. It's the Wizard of Oz country, man. I'm telling you, this is coming out, man.
Bozer.
Click your heel 3 times, Dave. This is coming out.
Gutierrez, Azamat, Barboz, and
isn't Azamat the guy in Borat?
Yeah, he's Borat's buddy there. Azamat! Fucking AJ. Your parlay sucks, by the way.
Why, man? Don't be a hater, Dave. Why are you being such a hater?
Because Fred's parlay makes more sense.
You're not going to hear the end of it, man. I'm gonna declare it a holiday, a national holiday on Ringside if I win.
Yeah, but if I win, because you're not.
You know, bud, you're going to be praying to like whoever you pray to and hope that I don't win. Because if I do win, man, I'm showing up in front of your house with a caravan, confetti, loudspeakers. I swear to God, I'm doing it, man.
You're not, though.
You know I'm going to do it. I will.
I know you're not going to do it.
You're not.
I will. If I win, man, it's a Saturday night, man. What does AJ have better to do than to come up with this shit?
Probably nothing.
You'll see.
Okay. I'm going to give you a simple parlay. It doesn't have the payout of AJ's, but it's more logical. So, you might actually win some money. It's the smallest payout of any parlay. So, there you go. How about that? And I'm fine with that because I'm trying to win money, not give you stupid parlays like AJ. Rafa Garcia and Tanner Boser. Garcia over Guida. I think Guida's pretty much done. And Boser over Kutalaba. $20 gets you $58.15. More than double your money over at bet99.com. It's a logical parlay. It's Boser. It's Garcia. It's going down on Saturday. I'm going to actually put my money down on this parlay because, unlike AJ, I put my money where my mouth is. AJ just talks nonsense. And like Lior says, thank you, Lior, he says, anyone remember how coherent the show was without AJ last week or the week before? No, it was last week. It was just me and Fred, and it was far more coherent. And he says, what a huge contrast to tonight's show, always entertaining AJ. See, you're incoherent. You're incoherent, AJ. Lior is a member of the team. Shout out to Lior. Shout out to Angelo. What's up, Angelo? Angelo wearing our hat around the Ringside Report merch. Very cool. Shout out to Angelo, representing Ringside Report Network everywhere he goes. Yeah, the show was far better last week when it was just me and Fred. Far better.
Listen, man, I can always pull out and go work with like another show. There's no problem. But the thing is this.
Okay.
Motherfucker.
Let's see that.
I can always do that.
See
but
that.
The thing is,
I want you to follow. I call your bluff. Follow through on that threat. Where I don't know where you're gonna go. Go, AJ.
Listen, man.
I'll let you go. It's okay.
Listen,
what
man.
a threat!
You get a sabbatical.
I'm gonna go work for another show. Okay, what does that even mean? What show are you gonna go work on? Go ahead.
I'm trying to figure one out. But listen, Lior, you're totally right, man. But you know what? Listen, it all comes down to this. These guys,
Danny Brook hour in the darkness on his phone.
Listen, well, that was one of the greatest shows that we ever had.
Yeah, you and Johnny in the dark. That'll be good. Everybody wants to see two guys they can't see. That's great. Or hear. Great. I look forward to watching your show. Or struggling to watch your show anyways.
Listen, man. Is
that show still online?
I hope
next
not.
Time AJ tells you, put an old show, Dave. Put an old show. That's the one you should put.
Yeah.
Listen, man. Don't diss me and Johnny. We did our best, man, with the equipment that we had.
We did our best. AJ's threatening to walk and go work for some other show, and he's like, "We did our best." You suck, AJ.
Listen, man, you think it was that easy? We were like fucking out on the streets. It was super cold, man. People thought we were homeless, and we still delivered the show, man.
You know what? It wasn't well thought. You guys didn't expect like, you guys just said like, "Hey, let's do a show," and didn't think of anything else.
Yep.
Well, it was pretty entertaining. I'll tell you that much.
No audio.
Anyways, listen, you can listen to Dave and Fred, but they haven't pulled out anything in the last weeks, man. So just to say, mine is going to come out, man. The three-legged horse is coming out this Saturday. And if
Fred's
it does,
parlay
you won't get
won like
parlay
a couple
too.
weeks ago. I'm pretty sure Fred won a parlay not long ago. Fred was the most
Yeah.
recent parlay winner. Yeah,
Uh,
not
I
long
think
ago.
yeah, I think
It was like
about 3 weeks
a
ago.
month ago or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it was. It
and
was.
AJ hasn't won a parlay all year. I can't remember the last
What?
time AJ won a parlay.
I
So
won
at
it,
least Fred and I
did
have
win
won a
parlay.
couple times in 2023. What's going on with you? You're talking a lot of trash tonight, and you're not backing up.
Motherfucker.
A lot of trash.
Listen, man. It's
Talk
okay,
about
bud. It's okay.
walking off the show. Talk about winning parlays. Talk about choking me out. Talking a lot of trash. You're not backing up over there, buddy.
I'm not saying it. You're the one who said that. I'm
No, you
just like,
said it.
know,
You said I would choke you out. That's what you said
Yeah,
to me.
because
Oh,
you
I
were like
choked
this
you out.
when
Da,
you
da,
were-
da. I'm like, I don't think you could.
what, from the screen.
No, you said if there was no screen, I would get you. I would choke you. Da, da, da. Making all sorts of threats. A lot of fucking threats your ass can't really cash. Talking a lot of shit over there,
Yeah.
buddy.
Listen,
Lot
buddy,
of
I'm going to tell
shit.
you something. Never forget this. I'm a BTT guy. You talk shit, man, you're going down.
Come get it.
Remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, come to our gym and get it. You know?
Why
That's
would
what
I want to
said.
go
Never
and
forget
like
that.
say a bunch of mean things to guys? I'm not trying to disrespect a whole bunch of people. Just you. Because you
okay, bud.
you
You're
started
welcome.
it. You made a threat first. You
I
threatened
don't
me.
make
I'm gonna
threats, man.
fucking go after
We
you. I'll
do
end
it on
you. I'll
Yeah,
end
you
neutral
were
you.
ground
dissing me,
in
man.
my basement.
Huh?
Freddie's
Yeah, let's
gonna
go.
ref it.
Yeah.
Do you have your mats still, Fred?
Yeah, of course.
Are they tatami? Like, what are they? Like, are they the thick ones?
They're good enough.
AJ's like, it's got to be the right surface here. I got bad knees. Take
Man,
it
I
easy.
have bad knees, man. I have bad knees, bad ankles, a bad shoulder.
Oh God.
I've been in
All
it too long, dude.
Shut
It's
up,
okay.
AJ.
I love-
Angelo
listen,
says
I
that.
love
That's a
you.
message from Angelo.
Yeah.
Shut up, AJ.
If I don't get that from Angelo, I know there's something wrong, man.
Yeah, well, something's wrong, all right. Okay,
But
I'll be
still
back
love you guys, no
tomorrow
matter
night,
what.
10 p.m. Eastern Time with Johnny North for Wrestling Uncensored. Oh, wait, hold on.
What? Uh-oh. What's up?
Did you hear that?
Update with Fred.
NASCAR.
NASCAR.
Wow. Yeah, talk about NASCAR, man.
All right,
What's
man.
with the guy who got
There ain't that much
suspended?
that happened this week, but let's talk about Chase Elliott, man. 2020 champ. Earlier this year, man, on his off day, he decided to go do some snowboarding, and he broke his leg, and unfortunately, he missed a couple of weeks. But he's coming back this week. But he's way back in the standing, so he needs a win if he wants to make the playoffs. And like I say, he's the 2020 champ, so he's a good driver, very good driver. But he needs a win to make the playoffs. So let's see if he makes it, because he won't make it on points. Everybody that gets a win in the first 26 races makes it to the playoffs. And after that, the rest of the playoff field is set with points. And with him missing at least 4 or 5 races, that's
Actually,
not going to be
6.
possible. So
He's
6.
lost
So
his
you
6.
see, AJ's
Yeah.
better prepared than me. Again.
AJ's become a NASCAR expert. I don't understand.
I'm telling you, Freddie got me on it, man. It's exciting. Every time I watch it, it's like
All right, let me
learn the
test
story.
you, man. Which legend is Chase Elliott's father?
I have no idea.
You don't have that. Bill Elliott.
No. Billy.
Billy Elliott.
Bill Elliott. Awesome Bill from Dawsonville, because he's from Dawsonville, Georgia.
Nice. I thought there was a movie, Billy Elliot. But anyways,
Yeah,
well, I was
wasn't that
gonna
a
say, what
movie about like
the-
a dancing kid or something?
Not the same thing.
Listen, what happened with that guy Cody Ware? What was that all about, man? Like they were comparing him to John
I mean,
Jones.
he got
that whole
arrested for
night.
smacking somebody. I think it was a female.
Ugh.
Yeah, he's an idiot. But you know what, man? NASCAR has like 36 charter teams they call it, which is basically franchises. And Cody Ware is like, at best, he's maybe 30th, not even. Like, he might be the worst driver. Like, that's not an important team. I don't care about him. I hope he never comes back. I said he wouldn't come back, but actually I might be wrong on that, because the owner of that car is Rick Ware, and I'm pretty sure they got some type of family thing going on, Cody and Rick. So maybe Cody will end up being back, but he's been suspended for now for NASCAR, and I hope he doesn't come back. Fuck him. He's a jabroni anyways.
And what about the NASCAR and the what's his name, Kyle Larson incident? What was that all about?
Well, Kyle Larson got in a beef last week at Bristol with Ryan Preece, so I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about. But yeah, Ryan Preece
Yep.
wrecked Kyle Larson, 2021 champ, on purpose, and Ryan Preece is going to get a penalty from NASCAR. too much of that this year, man. There's a lot of discussion about guys not having respect for each other on the track, man. A lot of fighting, a lot of bumping and taking people out. And, yeah, that has to stop, man. NASCAR's putting on some stiff penalties.
But it's exciting, man. Like, when that drama happens, man, it really makes it
yeah, but I'd rather see a
pretty good
fight.
show,
Like,
man.
I don't – like, if you're going to take someone out, man, like, let's go fight at least, man. Get out of the car, take your helmet off, and fight, man. Don't just be wrecking people. Because when you're wrecking people, you're wrecking other cars that have nothing to do with your beef. I'd rather see two guys after the race park their car, start a shoving match, maybe a couple punches thrown. There's a lot of examples of that in NASCAR in the past, and the fans love it, man, and that's where it should be. Like, you want to fight, do it after with your fists, not with your car.
Ricky Bobby style, man.
Well, it's amazing how much NASCAR AJ has picked up on. Really incredible. It's funny to me that he's picked up on NASCAR so quickly and still struggles to understand pro wrestling, just the basic concept of pro wrestling. And, you know, we've been talking about wrestling and watching wrestling for much longer, you know, but AJ, for some reason, the NASCAR he's really taken to. It's interesting to me.
Listen, man, I love pro wrestling. I enjoy it, man. I told you that Logan Paul would probably be a star in, like, the WWE. You didn't believe me. Not that I know as much as you guys, but I was right on that. Just saying, Maverick.
Jesus. Yeah, but, I mean, if we brought up all the things you were wrong about, you know, we'd be here forever.
Listen, man, you're right.
You also said Logan Paul would beat Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, and he would beat Roman Reigns at that other match he had, and he lost both.
What was the match that he was mad at WrestleMania? It was the Cody match. Yeah,
was he mad about Cody?
Yeah, he thought that Roman cheated to win, and we're like, of course.
Yeah, yes, he cheated. AJ is not a fan of cheating in wrestling. He doesn't like that.
I don't.
Doesn't like that.
Yeah, just like the Ronda Rousey thing. Remember with the knee bar? I'm like, come on, man. But she won the last one.
Cool.
She performed with a broken arm or something.
Yeah.
That's what I read.
Did she?
Yeah.
Props to her.
Wow.
She did nothing.
That's impressive, man.
She did nothing.
Yeah.
She got tagged in. She walked in. She put an armbar on somebody, and that was it. She didn't wrestle.
Listen, man, Snoop Dogg is a champ now. Like, listen, who would have known that? Just saying.
He's a champ now?
Isn't he a champion?
He's a winner.
Did he win the belt?
No, he just had a match with Miz. Miz didn't have any belts. Thank God. Snoop Dogg is not a wrestling champion. He just had a brief encounter with Miz.
Miz sells it so well, man. Come on, man. The Miz is great.
I'm still waiting for a good Miz match. Still waiting for that one great Miz match.
Him defeating Daniel Bryan was one of the best match ever.
One of the best like wrestling matches ever?
Moments.
I mean, for you, because you like Miz and you know how much I love Daniel Bryan. But, I mean, it was probably Miz's best match because he wrestled the best wrestler he's ever faced. But,
if my network
it still
starts
sucked,
working, that's the first thing I'll go watch.
Ugh, gross. Yeah, I mean, it was probably Miz's best match and probably Bryan's worst because, you know, Bryan's the best wrestler in the world today and Miz is not. He's just not very good at wrestling. He's around for a while. People think he can talk well, but he really is not entertaining in any way. He's just not very good. Well. He's not a good talker.
Heel. Yeah.
Have you ever seen MJF or The Rock or Steve Austin or, I mean, Macho Man or Ric Flair? I mean, think about the great talkers in the history of the business. Miz is nowhere near their level. Look at Cody Rhodes right now and the promos that he's cutting. You think Miz could come anywhere near that level? He doesn't have the capabilities to do that. He doesn't have it in him. He's not a great talker. All these people that say Miz is a great talker and he can cut a promo, he can't. He's not good. He's very basic.
He knows how to get the people to hate him.
It's cheap heat, and it's not even good cheap heat. MJF does his act a million times better.
The Miz, future Hall of Famer.
Well, probably. I mean, they put everybody in the
Legend.
Hall of Fame. They put everybody in the Hall of Fame.
Donald Trump is there.
Donald Trump.
And Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg is going to be there soon.
Kid Rock.
Kid Rock, I believe, is a WWE Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Tyson.
Mike Tyson, too.
Tyson, too?
Yeah.
They were all sitting together, man.
Dana
You know
Dana
what?
was
There you
hanging
go.
out with 3 WWE Hall of Famers on
Yeah.
ringside.
And what
Dana will never
one
be
day-
in the WWE Hall of Fame.
I was gonna say, maybe Dana is gonna be in the Hall of Fame at some point. Just
No.
saying. You never know, Dave.
He does not want to be involved in wrestling. It really seems like more and more Dana's like, leave me out of that. He wants no
But
part of it.
I've seen Dana say some good things about the merger this week, man.
Yeah, he
seemed,
has to.
Okay with it.
He has to. I like that Dana says, I don't watch WWE. I never see it. I don't know what it is. But he's like, Logan Paul is really good at that. He's a really good wrestler. It's like, well, how do you know? If you're not watching it, how do you know? Dana. I suspect he's watching it sometimes. Okay, I'll be back. I'll be watching wrestling. I've watched a lot of wrestling so far this week. I watched Raw and Dynamite this week. Dynamite was actually pretty good last night. We had some good wrestling. Orange Cassidy had a good match with Buddy Matthews. Darby Allin had a good match with somebody. Who the fuck did Darby wrestle last night? Who did Darby wrestle? Oh, Swerve. Yeah. Swerve Strickland. It was a good match on Dynamite last night. All right, I'll talk about that tomorrow night after SmackDown with Johnny North for Wrestling Uncensored, and we'll be back here Thursday night for more MMA talk next Thursday, every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here for Ringside Report MMA on the Ringside Report Network.
Please join in and give your support to Ringside Report Network. We've been providing expert coverage and commentary on both pro wrestling and MMA for over 15 years. Go to ringsidereport.net/support to find out more ways to support the channel.